There are a number of things that make your campaign unprecedented. You are the first former president to run for re-election in more than 100 years. You are facing 4 indictments. You have an incredibly significant lead in the GOP primary polls. But I want to ask you this, Mr. President. Why do you want to be president again?
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all to get notifications of my rants, my ravings, and of course, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, thank you so much for tuning our way. Make sure that you like and share this video. That's how we get the word out. That's how we build our algorithm. Thank you for joining us on the Afternoon Drive. Kristen Welken is the new host of Meet the Press, or as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Meet the Depressed. And, this is significant. She is the first female host of Meet the Press now that Upchuck Todd has decided to go on to other things. I really hope he thinks that he's like another Tucker Carlson and he can, come online and join us in the alternative media world, and he finds out just how quickly nobody really cares what Chuck Todd has to think about anything. NBC gave him the platform. He did not build a platform of his own. See, that's what Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News, didn't understand was the secret and the power of Tucker. They just assumed they created Tucker, thus, if they take the platform away, that's the end of Tucker and his influence. And in reality, Tucker was bigger than the Faux Pas News brand. He was the one that set the narrative and drew in the audience. He had the platform that Faux Pas News, Fox News benefited from. Thus endeth the lesson. But Donald Trump going on Meet the Press was significant in the sense that Donald Trump again proves that he is not your typical politician. You think about how other politicians, they will smile, they will play the game, they will give the middle-of-the-road kind of answers when they do interviews, and then they use their henchmen to do their dirty work for them later on. For example, when the impeachment inquiry was announced about Joe Biden acted as if he was too much above the fray to have an opinion about such things. But of course, he immediately gets his surrogates at the White House to hand out talking points to the media. You got to attack this. You got to discredit this. Blah, 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 blah. Now, when Trump was under impeachment inquiry and then impeachment, everybody knew where Donald Trump himself stood on it because he told you. So Donald Trump goes into the lion's den, and I'm sorry, Kristen Welken is just not up to it. I mean, she came in with the questions that you knew she was going to ask, tried to entrap him on, are you for a national ban on abortion? By the way, Mr. President, the best way to handle that question, and I am 100% pro-life, but understand what you're doing and what you're saying and why you're saying it, and I get it when it comes to the expediency of where this country is in the area of this as a political issue. I understand that. The best and shortest answer you could give on that is, listen, what everyone in the pro-life movement has wanted for the past 50 years was for this to be a states' rights decision, that this needed to go back to the states, that Roe v. Wade circumvented all of that. And so now what we have done through the rulings of the Supreme Court, thanks to me and the people I put on that court, this is right where it needs to be. It is back in the hands of the state, and that's where it needs to stay. We do not need a national referendum on this or a national law on this. The states need to decide this for themselves. That's the short, quick answer, and it's the answer that will garner you the majority of support. But it was interesting when she went after him on, are you afraid of prison? After all, you're under 4 indictments. Don't you think about this? And listen to the way he continually pushes back on her.
You are facing 4 indictments.
Biden indictments, excuse me. Biden political indictments. He said to the Attorney General,
he's had nothing to do with it.
He said to the Attorney General, indict him. They put in the
there's
New
no
York
proof of
DA
that,
case,
Mr.
which
President.
everybody
There's
admits
no
isn't even a
proof of
case.
that, Mr.
Excuse me.
President.
They're
You
Biden
there's no
indictments.
proof of that.
You know what? He started something that's a very slippery slope. He said, I've got a guy that's beating me in the polls. I'm beating all the Republicans by a lot, and I'm beating him by a lot. I have somebody that's beating me in the polls. Indict him. And they, not only that, they took their top person in the Department of Justice and put him into the Manhattan DA's office.
Now, I cite that simply as an example of how Donald Trump handles the press so differently than the career politicians. He gives direct answers, he goes right in, and he doesn't let her reset the narrative of what it is she wants to talk about. He's going to tell you what he wants to talk about, whether or not you want to talk about it or not, and he does it masterfully, and he pushes back, and I absolutely love that. But the part of the interview that I found the most fascinating, because I think it is the biggest game changer in the election, he is not going to go to the second debate, which, why should he? He's like 60 points ahead of the rest of the pack. I mean, you know, DeSantis is, Deep State Ron is what, at like 9%? And Christie's like 2. Asa Hutchinson's at 0. I mean, it's ridiculous. So there's no need in him wasting time going to another worthless debate. And by the way, the only reason these GOP debates are happening right now, since none of them are actually debating Donald Trump, the actual front runner, the guy that's going to become the nominee, this is all about having this debate so that these candidates can keep hitting you up for donations, keep hitting you up for money, make sure that their teams get their salaries and get paid. And, you know, none of these guys stand a snowball's chance in Hades of going anywhere. Even if Donald Trump got removed, Mike Pence is not going to be the nominee. Chris Christie is not going to be the nominee. Though there are things about Vivek Ramaswamy that I really like and agree with, I think as we get closer to a real primary vote begin to take place, if he were anywhere even near striking distance, the Christian right is just not going to rally behind someone from a Hindu background. You can say that that's prejudicial, call it whatever you want. That is just the reality of where things are at. So there's no point. Donald Trump gains nothing going to the debates and basically leaving the adult table to sit at the kids' table for the Thanksgiving meal. There's no point in it. But what he is going to do is a huge game changer. He's going to meet with the striking UAW workers. Bum, ba-dum, bum. That's right, the United Auto Workers. This is huge. I said that Trump needs a big issue to rally. Not just his base, which they're already ramped up and ready to go. But I mean independents, libertarians, and yeah, even siphon off Democrats. I still believe that issue could be national health care. But one thing is definitely certain is in recent years, the Democrats are proven they are not the party of the working man. They are not the party of the working class. Joe Biden wants to talk about unions and the working man and blah, 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 blah. But wait a minute, time out. He's the one who crushed the railroad workers' strike. And he will crush this UAW strike because it's all about green energy, because it's all about where the grift and the money is and the special interest and the fact that he is not only Joe Obama Biden, he is Joe Beijing Biden. He is sold out to China. All of these auto jobs are going to go to China because that's where these electric cars en masse are going to be built in China, because China doesn't have a problem getting its hands on the fact that 90% of the cobalt that gets mined and used for the lithium batteries that we use in our phones and in our computers and in everything else, including now electric cars, comes from slave labor in Africa. Hey, where are you, Black Lives Matter? Where are all you CRT proponents and all you, Cornell West and all of you that want to continually talk about white supremacy and racism? Where are you? Because right now, the biggest slave labor in the history of the world is not in the past tense. It's not the south of the pre-Civil War South of the United States. It's happening right now in Africa as tens of thousands of people are being used to mine the cobalt used for lithium batteries by hand. Bum. Hey, AOC, where are you on this? Oh, that's right. You were shouted down in New York City because you've allowed the migrants to overtake that city. And now you're watching Mayor Adams of New York distance himself big time from Joe Biden, despite the fact he ran on the fact we're a sanctuary city. Yeah, how'd that work out for you there, Mayor Adams? Yeah, exactly. So this is a huge issue now where Trump can actually take that working class vote away from the Democrats because they're so busy placating the LBGTQ A10 plus 2 minus 3, whatever group of just out and left field degenerates that are out there that have got some type of weirdo, sicko, freako cause. That the Democrats are all over. All of their wokeism and their social justice nonsense, they're all over that. They have allowed their party to become an absolute freak show. Donald Trump can deliver not only the middle class black vote, he can deliver the middle class Hispanic vote, Hispanics who are here legally and don't like the fact that everything that they've worked and achieved is being undermined and taken away by people who came here illegally and the crime and the problems that they're bringing with them. And you even have Democrats openly talking about that we cannot handle this influx of these illegal migrants who are now overrunning our sanctuary cities because we defunded the police and we don't know what to do with these people. Bump. So there's an awakening happening, and Donald Trump, in a brilliant move, has said, you know what? Even if I can't get the union leadership, I'm going to get the union workers.
The auto workers are not going to have any jobs when you come right down to it, because if you take a look at what they're doing with electric cars are going to be made in China. The auto workers are not going to have any. I'll tell you what. The auto workers are being sold down the river by their leadership, and their leadership should endorse Trump. The reason is you got to have choice. Like in school, I want school choice. I also want choice for cars. If somebody wants gasoline, if somebody wants all electric, they can do whatever they want. But they're destroying the consumer, and they're destroying the auto workers. The auto workers will not have any jobs, Kristen, because all of these cars are going to be made in China.
You know what? Union workers remember when Donald Trump was president. And they were getting raises, and they were getting benefits and bonuses. They could go to the grocery store. They could afford the groceries, and everything they wanted was actually in stock. They remember when they could actually afford to buy things like gas. This is a winning strategy. This is a brilliant move. And if Deep State Ron wants to keep making this election about wokeism, if the Democrats, all they've got to run on are these class issues where they're constantly screaming white supremacy and racism about everything, and sexism and wanting to defend absolute debauchery and say it's completely normal for a man to call himself a woman and then target children with drag queens in school and in libraries, if that's what they want to run on, go for it. Whatever happened to the $15 minimum wage? We're going to have a $15 minimum wage. We got to have it. Well, where is it? Where is the talk of the Democrats and what they're actually going to do for people? Donald Trump is making a major move here. And this is huge. And it's big time.